I never actually played dominoes as a kid. I just liked setting them up to watch them fall down. The process was tedious. Sometimes things fell when you didn't want them to. Sometimes the domino was not spaced properly to trigger the other one fall down correctly. But ultimately, you finally have it happen. It was quick, but satisfying to watch it all play out. And after the last domino fell, I was left looking at the results and asked myself, was this really worth my time? That is exactly how Shadow of War feels. I liked Shadow of Mordor. It was Arkham meets Assassin's Creed, it had an interesting angle from the Lord of the Rings side of the lore, and the Nemesis system was really unique and it made an experience for each and every player. Shadow of War picks up where it left off, and while at its best it could be really fun, but there are things that really weigh down the peaks. I'm going to split this review into acts because there are 4 acts total in this game, and each left a different impression on me about the game overall. Act 1 is the introductory to the game, and it throws too much too fast. Not counting the plot here of, let's make another ring to battle a ring, what could go wrong? Or why Gollum shows up for 2 missions? Look at the minimap icons. When you first open the menu, you have a ton of options at your disposal with little to no explanation of what each one actually is. Main mission, side mission, captains and armies, a lot of inventory. Gems for inventory slots, okay. Cool, I can upgrade a skill. Holy crap, that is a ton of writing. With such a broad scope, without even touching on the domination aspect of the game, I feel like anybody who did not play Shadow of Mordor would be in a total state of confusion. Side missions become available but are either collectibles, memory fragments you rotate to piece together, or past events that train you to use all your moves. Free roam's great to a point, but you may spend the first hour or two just figuring out what's priority and what's locked out and how the inventory system actually works. Combat versus stealth is the main aspect to explore in the beginning, favoring the stealthy approach more as your combat capabilities are insanely limited. You must unlock executions, area clearing moves, and even throwing daggers. Until then, it's all about positioning, vaulting over, or throwing orcs, while shield orcs or berserkers throw a wrench and is simply just attacking wildly head on. Captains have set weaknesses to exploit or strengths that make them tough to eliminate, and the Nemesis system may have some that get mad about literally everything. On Nemesis difficulty, the hardest one at launch, the beginning can be tough to trudge through when you're the sole target with such limited capabilities in combat. Act 2 is where you're going to spend most of your time and where the real game starts to break through as you gain the ability to dominate orcs and captains and put them on your side.
Right lord, dark lord. Same thing, really.
Side quests open up involving an elf that hunts ringwraiths, which is just awesome, and combat becomes easier as you unlock skills to utilize besides hacking away with a sword or using a bow shot. Everything really starts to click. The crumbly vista of Act 1's setting breaks away to more diverse-looking, welcoming locales. Lush jungles, icy tundras, or molten lands are your playground as you jump around, gaining intel on potential captains or wreaking havoc in the open world. Great on console, looks even better on PC. The Nemesis system upgrades are standout. Each captain you control can be upgraded individually to be tailored to their strengths or weaknesses, assigned as your personal bodyguard, or set against another war chief as a spy. There's a lot of variation and possibility with each encounter. I've been betrayed, overthrown, a target of revenge for killing an orc's blood brother, you name it. The personalities and strengths of each orc felt unique, and I rarely came across the same kind twice. Just avoid the fighting pit missions. While interesting to tackle another player's war chief online, they spend most of the time doing this. The standout here is Fortress Assault and Defense. Once your army's built, you take on the war chief himself. An intro exchange of dialogue is given before your army charges at the enemy gates. This moment never becomes stale, and watching your captains, Caragors, and siege beasts lay into the fortress walls is outstanding. The chaos is exciting as you take control points, down captains that emerge, and revive your own captains that fall in battle. At the end of it all, you enter the war chief's throne room for a 1v1. Kinda, he's got lots of friends. After you take a fortress, you set up defenses, which, even though another player can invade yours, it only sets up a simulation for that player, so you won't really lose anything in single player at all. yet. The system can be fun, but strategy's really out the window. It's a numbers game most of the time. You have a ton of captains, high in level, you're in good shape 90% of the time. While this may not be true online, for those tackling the main missions, I never overanalyze strength and weakness of every single captain I put into play. Most of the time, there's so much happening below, it's impossible to see anything going on. I can't tell my orcs from the enemy orcs, and the game lets you hit or stun your own captains for some reason. In addition to this, the usual orc introduction chains, and every time an orc dies, betrays you, or appears, the action halts. Toward the end game, it practically slammed on the brakes.
I'm going to tear you open and feed you your own liver. After that, I'll slice off bits of you and force feed them to you until your stomach bursts. We too.
Last one to get in a hit.
Act 1 made me skeptical, Act 2 brought some hope, but Act 3, that's where things took a turn. After capturing all fortresses, assembling your army, closing out side quests, and upgrading your skills, you trigger the final mission, quote-unquote, also known as Act 3, which is essentially done in about an hour. You charge against Sauron's army and Sauron himself in one of the most lackluster mid-game endings you could have after all that work. Without spoilers, it's not like Mass Effect 2, where building up your army, you can unleash all hell on the final fortress and see all your plans come to fruition. No, it's a single bridge battle, where you fight a captain, and then another wave of captains, and then another, after which a lore-breaking event splits you off into an impromptu assault to retake the fortress from Act 1. This results in your expected boss encounter where you hit A to dodge a lot, and another boss encounter where you play the floor as lava. That's it. It left a lot to be desired. None of my war chiefs, captains, defenses, completed side quests played any real part in anything beyond upgrading my skills and the bridge battle. And then the text appears. Wait, there's a whole nother act? Turns out there's quite a bit more, but nothing is established as in the story before. You must complete 10 stages, each with a fortress defense apiece, sometimes defending 3 or 4 of them before moving on to the next stage. Defend the fortress from Sauron's army. Lose it, you have to take it all over again. Not to mention, there is nothing special about these missions. It's quite literally 1 high-level captain and 5 lesser captains. No wraiths, no hitches, nothing special beyond repetition. Oh, you have level 30s in that fortress because you did not have time to upkeep 4 fortresses as you progress through the game. Yeah, they're useless now. Maybe explore our loot box system to up your level. I see what you did there, Monolith. Regardless of the hype though, the loot box dread is minimal here. You can earn all currencies in-game. Even the coveted gold currency can be earned from daily quests that take maybe 5 minutes to do. It does walk a thin line of you don't have to buy them, but they do help in leveling and restocking your fortresses should captains fall. The careful player can balance it so it's never really an issue.
All the scum I could have betrayed. I had to betray the one who can actually defeat me in combat. I'm an idiot.
The good news is, if you liked Shadow of Mordor, you'll like this. I'm just hoping for more from Shadow of War. More refinement and focus on the mission structure and content, but it feels far too spread out. Nemesis systems engaging, and the fortress attack and defense missions can be fun, but the disappointment of Act 3, the repetition of Act 4, and re-leveling, replacing, and upping lost captains over and over again became agonizing and drawn out. I drilled over 12 hours or more for a 2-minute cutscene. When the game is at its best, it's truly enjoyable, but the journey to get to the good stuff feels like an inconvenience. It will leave you staring at dead captains, checklists of side quests, and as your fortress falls to an orc who friendly fired you, you'll step back and say, is this really worth it?
Talion held back the forces of darkness for decades.
Yeah, it sure as hell felt like it.
The dark